Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It has been, wow, this is weird. It's been so long since the last video. It's been like 10 days or something, but I did finish the Star Wars documentary that is coming out soon. So, well, one cut of it, then there's a director's cut that I'll make that'll be out soon. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to, and I've had all this other stuff going on. But now we're back. And I figured since we have Tales of the Underworld that came out, which was phenomenal, and then we have been having Andor Season 2 that's been coming out, and that's been phenomenal as well. Especially the last 3 episodes that they put out, I know there's one more arc left, but the latest arc is some of the best TV I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of TV, and that blew me away. I mean, the writing, the directing, like, the VFX, and how, like, they use all these, like, practical sets, but then, like, I don't know, like, just the action set pieces were crazy. I don't know. Everything, the cinematography, like, every piece of that was just great. And it felt more, I mean, it still doesn't feel like Star Wars at all, but at least it had a lot of stormtroopers and lots of Imperial action going on, and X-Wings and Yavin and General Draven and Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, like the Senate on Coruscant, like it had a lot more Star Wars like things in it. Doesn't make something Star Wars necessarily, but the writing was just so good, like it's undeniably great, even if Andor isn't your thing, I think you're going to really like these 3 episodes. It really was really well done. That was phenomenal. And, as I say, Andor is not Star Wars, but it is a great show. It is a really, really great show, with the Star Wars texture pack. That's really what it is. So I enjoy it, but I know it's not for everyone. Anyways, what we're doing today is we are ranking every single Star Wars movie and show, and it's a ranking from 1 to whatever the number is. Like, this is not a tier list. This is a ranking, one above the other. So I have not done something like this before. I've never ranked this much, like at once. Like, that's crazy. But anyways, starting off at the top, Revenge of the Sith. That's an obvious number 1. I mean, in my opinion, it's my favorite movie ever. I just love every second of that film. From start to finish, it's phenomenal. I got to see it in theaters. That was an amazing experience. Like, just Revenge, everything about Revenge is just so well done and well put together. And the writing is great. And the music is really phenomenal. Obviously, it's John Williams. And then the direction is great because it's George Lucas. The sets are all really well made, and like the fact that most of that's like not even real still blows my mind because it looks so real to me. It always has, yeah, it's wild. I love that movie, and I love Commander Cody, and that's where he kind of has his time to shine. And I don't know, y'all already know how much I love that movie. But anyways, yeah, so next is Empire Strikes Back. Greatest movie of all time. Pretty much can say that. Yeah, that's just, there's so much to back that up. Like, Empire is flawless from start to finish. I mean, there is literally nothing wrong with that film, other than this one part that has always kind of bugged me, and it's at the beginning where Luke pulls his saber, right? It's this epic moment, and then the audio is just off. Like, you hear him ignite his saber, he cuts himself down, and then you hear the clash of him cutting himself down. He cuts the Wampa's arm off fine, and then you hear the saber shut off while it's still on. So, like, that whole part's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, obviously, for that specific instance, but it's a tiny thing, and there is zero piece of film on screen that is 100% flawless. Like, that's not a thing. No one has done that, and no one ever will, because that's impossible to do. Because humanity is not perfect, therefore that cannot happen. But that film is the greatest film of all time, and I very confidently can say that. But yeah, that is right there. Next for me is gonna be Episode 1. I love Episode 1. Everything about Episode 1. That is also all three of these movies are very, very well done. And Episode 1 has more more miniatures than any of the original trilogy films. And then you have all these people say, oh, it's just all CGI. It's like, how are you gonna do the fucking underwater Gungan base or city, practically? You're not. That's impossible. It's like, what are you guys talking about? How are you gonna do a battle with like hundreds of droids and hundreds of these weird Gungan things practically? You're not. It's like he did things CGI for a reason. And I hate when people are like, oh, CGI. And I was at a thing recently where Ahmed Best was speaking, who plays Jar Jar Binks, if you didn't know. I love him to death. But basically, he was talking about that too, about how ridiculous people are that like criticize it for its use of CGI. It's like, it wouldn't be possible without CGI, idiots. Half the movies made today wouldn't be possible without Episode 1 and without George Lucas. That's just the truth. And it's very hard for people to accept that, but it's true. The whole reason why you're able to edit your movies on a little digital computer is because of George Lucas creating Edit Droid. He's the whole reason why you can edit digitally. So it's like, why are you whining about digitizing? And George is the only reason why cinema progressed to use digital cameras. Episode 2, first film in the world. First, big film in the world to use digital cameras. I'm sure like some small test project when they were testing the camera, right? But that was the first real film to use digital cameras ever. It's crazy. Like it is crazy, honestly. Like how much those prequel films advanced cinematic technology. It's insane. And then you have all the film kids, who I hate very much, come out and trash them, say they're overusing CGI, and I'm like, that's the only way you could get these insane things done, is through CGI. Okay, let's do the Avengers Battle of New York. How are you going to get that done, practically? With the Chitauri and all them? You're not. Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones and his crew, how are you going to do that well practically? You're not. It could be a dead center, like just flat set with plastic things hanging down, and that's it. How the fuck are you going to do that? You're not. You're not. It's like, I could just keep going. Like, you cannot, half the Dune 2, for example, both Dune movies, Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2. How are you going to do that without CGI to that level? You're not. They did a Dune without crazy CGI and it sucked. The original one is horrible. And then they did those two and they're great. And it's like, well, CGI. That's the only way it could get done. It's like, so shut up. Make your independent films and just accept the truth at some point. But I love Phantom Menace. So not only for that, but the story is really, really amazing. And the story, I love the political side of Phantom Menace. And it's like these taxations of trade routes and, the Trade Federation versus the Republic and how they're blocking supply to Naboo. And like, I love that whole part and how it's not this massive conflict, it's like just two Jedi, going on a mission to free a Republic planet from a weird corporate group of people. And that's really cool to me. I really like that Phantom Menace feels bigger than any of the original trilogy films, but plot-wise, it's not. And that's what's so cool. It's like just yeah, I love the whole thing with using battle droids and like I don't know. I love Phantom Menace, and then obviously the fight between Qui-Gon's character and Darth Maul's character, and then the fight between them. It's insane. I love that. Love that film to death. Got to see it in 35 millimeter film too. What's it called? The other day. It was really cool. Same event where I saw Ahmed Best, but you know it's cool. I saw one movie on film, and that was Oppenheimer, but it was in the IMAX 70 millimeter, and that's new technology. That's film progression, I'd say. Um, but this was like literally watching a movie like how our parents saw it in theaters. You know that's how I saw it, and I'm so grateful for digital projection. I mean, I am so like at first I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of a vibe, and then you get like these black spots that just show up on the screen, and then these like dots, and then it's like feels like it's shaking, and it's like, ugh. I much prefer just digital projection, yeah. But it was a cool experience. I really like that I got to see it that way, because not a lot of you are going to be able to do that who are my age, you know, so yeah. Anyways, this is where things start to get tricky. So I'm going to say here, oh gosh, yeah, Return of the Jedi. Then, and I love that movie. I can't go over deeply everything, you know, because we're already at 10 minutes, so this will be like a 3-hour video if I do that. And I could talk about everything on this list for hours. Whether I like it, love it, or hate it, I could go on and on and on. But, as you guys know. But Return of the Jedi, lovely film. Then, I'm going to go, ooh, fuck. I don't know what to do. Do I do Star Wars or do I do Attack of the Clones? Dang it, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go Star Wars. That first film is just, again, one of the greatest films of all time. Such a classic. And then here's the thing with this ranking of 6. I love every single one of them, like, equally. It's just which ones, like, what's my kind of, like, what am I feeling right now? You know, and Revenge of the Sith is the only one where it's always at the top, but, like, I'd say Revenge and Empire are always at the top, but, like, the rest of them kind of move around. Especially the like, bottom 3 are always changing. Like, sometimes episode 2 is right next to episode 1, sometimes it's in the middle. You know, it's like, it's always this shifting thing, those last 3. The first 3 I've kind of solidified in my head, but, yeah, all of those films are, as you guys know, I just love. Okay, so now now we have Clone Wars. So I'm going to just put all of Clone Wars in one kind of spot. So the Clone Wars movie and the show. That's right after, you know, because that's just, it speaks for itself. It's Star Wars, the fucking Clone Wars. That expanded the galaxy of Star Wars on screen so much. Because, of course, we had all the books and whatever. But that was the first time we saw Star Wars so expansive and big on an actual, like, TV screen. You know? And I'd say the only other thing that's kind of close to that would have been, like, KOTOR, where we saw this totally different side. But, like, Clone Wars, there's all these factions and groups and characters, and it's like, you're constantly, every arc is a new thing, you know? And it's like, it's just such... Clone Wars is my favorite show ever. That will always be my favorite show ever. It's so fucking well done. From season 1 to season 6, it's consistently perfect. And then the last 4 episodes of season 7, some of the best TV of all time. You know, but yeah, Clone Wars is fucking phenomenal. So then after that, I'm gonna go the Gennady Tartakovsky Clone Wars series. This is the 2003 2D Clone Wars show. Really well done. Again, very expansive. You see a lot of really insane force powers. You see Mace Windu beat the fuck out of super battle droids with his bare hands. Who doesn't want to see that? Like, that's sick. You see Anakin, like just destroy Ventress, like in a fit of rage. It's crazy. You get to see the Coruscant thing with Grievous. You learn why Grievous has a cough in Revenge of the Sith, and it's because Mace Windu crunched his chest with the Force. You know, and it's like, it's so cool. It's so cool. I love that. But yeah, so that's all of George Lucas Star Wars. So that's obviously always going to be top. So now we're getting to very murky territory, which is Disney Star Wars. Very murky. And this is where I'm going to have to sit and think sometimes, because I don't want to make a stupid move. What is the best Disney Star Wars product? Tales of the Jedi? Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. Yep. That is the best Disney Star Wars product still, to this day. That was like the original Clone Wars crew never left. That's what that series felt like. And I remember just like the entire time being blown away. We saw this part of Star Wars that we've been dying to see forever, which is what the hell happened to Yaddle, and why did Dooku leave? How did he leave? What did he do when he left? Like, we read it in books, but we saw it. And then we saw Dooku killed Yaddle. And not only that, that was Dooku's turning point, right? So that was a huge piece for his character. And then the Ahsoka stuff was so fun. You know, we got that Clone Wars episode and how it tied into the final season, and then we got that last episode with her, I think, fighting off, I think his name is the First Brother, and that was really fun. And then the first episode, which is Ahsoka as like a young child, we see the Togruta village, and it's just beautiful, and the music in that episode in particular is just like some of the best Star Wars music outside of John Williams. I mean, it was like literally like so perfect. And then, you know, we see them discover she's Force sensitive. And I wish they almost did one more episode where we saw Plo take her in. That would have been cool, but we already know that, so it's like, why? But yeah, so that's you know, next to it. And then I gotta go Rogue One or Mando. Yikes. Why? I can't pick. Here's the thing, is I can't be delusional and be like, oh, only seasons 1 and 2. Like, that's not realistic, you know? There is that third season, but season 1 and 2 outweigh it. And it's like, this is hard. Because I love Mando to death. Like, I literally since day one, since the very first episode came out, I have loved that show, like, more than most. Like, that show was a big deal to me when it came out, and it still is. Those first 2 seasons are, like, some of my favorite pieces of media ever in anything, you know? Like, yeah, like, I have a huge affinity for those seasons, but Rogue One is... I also have a huge love for, but... fuck. Yep. We might have to come back to this rematch, to this matchup, because this is really hard for me to decide. Because, like, Rogue One is just written so flawlessly. And, like, there are moments in there that are just really cool. And I'm not just talking... Vader's moments, of course, are Vader moments, you know, but... I'm more talking, like, these just little tiny moments or little quotes or just little things here and there. The whole idea of Chirrut Imwe and Baze and that whole thing. Yeah, Rogue One. Yeah, I'm going to say Rogue One is next. Then Mando... And those two, I'm going to say, are neck and neck. Those two, to me, are, like, pretty much tied. Yeah. And then I'm going to confidently go Solo. and some of you probably know this about me already, but I love Solo. I really, really love that movie. I was really able to connect with Han, so I have kind of like a personal bias for it, but it's just feels the most like I feel like George Star Wars in the Disney era. Like the pace of it. George himself really liked Solo and even attended the premiere. That's he attended the premieres of Force Awakens just because that was the first one. And then he didn't go to Last Jedi. He didn't go to Rogue One. He went to Solo, and then didn't go to Rise of Skywalker or any of the other ones. So like he really liked Solo, and I completely see why, because it very much is. It's unique. It's different. We have these new characters that fit into Star Wars, like Enfys Nest and all of them, and then the whole thing, we get Maul's appearance, and that will we'll learn more about his situation in Maul Shadow Lord, which they're finally doing. That's like a dream. I've always wanted to know what he's up to at that time, which we kind of know, but like not deeply. And then Han's arc is really cool, and Alden Ehrenreich did an amazing job playing Han, and I feel like he should be. Harrison isn't gonna want to do it anymore, so if we can't get Harrison, he's easily a good replacement. Because we can't just have Harrison pass and then never get Han again, or have him pass and then never get Indy again. That's just no, bro. That's the same thing with Luke. Once Mark Hamill's done and retired, we can't just never have Luke again. That's not. These characters are eternal and they've got to live on. And that casting was just great, so I really want him to come back. And I've been on the Solo 2 train ever since it came out. However, realistically, that's probably not going to happen because it was such a financial disaster for Disney because of The Last Jedi. And that's not just me not accepting that Solo didn't do well. It's factual information that you look at statistics and data, how the interest of the Star Wars brand tanked after The Last Jedi came out. That wrecked the whole brand, and they had to work it back up. And Mando was a enormous boost back up. And Mando, everyone's like, oh, this or that saved Star Wars. It's like, no, The Mandalorian saved Star Wars. Without The Mandalorian, Star Wars would probably be dead right now. I'm gonna be real. People were so, just done after the sequels, and that show saved Star Wars' ass. So, thanks to Mando, it's still around. That's realistically, yeah. So, next I'm probably gonna go Andor or Rebels. Rebels, yeah. Look, Rebels is fun. It's a fun show. There are a lot of episodes that are filler. That's the issue with Rebels, is there's that Filoni filler, that he kind of has now. Ever since George hasn't been there to set him in his place, he just kind of likes to do these just character development episodes that are just really lame. So there's a good amount of that in Rebels, but then there are the overarching story, the characters, the soundtrack, those little episodes, just these episodes that are just so phenomenal, like Twin Suns, which is a massive deal. They killed off one of the main characters of Star Wars. They killed off Darth Maul. That was a big deal. Or the Malachor episode with Vader fighting Ahsoka, or I'd say the opening of season 2 with Darth Vader's kind of first. I know he was in season 1 a little bit, but his first kind of big appearance was in season 2, where he just wrecks Ezra and Kanan. It is a miracle that they got out alive. It's crazy. And if that was Legends Vader, they never would have gotten out alive, but they had to nerf him because there's no way he could be in anything with any significant character, or else he'd just kill them, so they had to nerf him in canon. Yeah, but And then season 3 and 4 are really, really great of that show. They're just well written across the board. But yeah. And then I'm going to go Andor. Just a phenomenal show. And, do I prefer, writing-wise, do I prefer Andor over Rebels or whatever? It's like, yeah. But for a Star Wars ranking, I can't put Andor that high because it's not Star Wars. It's like, sure, it has the texture pack, but it doesn't have the feel of Star Wars. And I'm not about to say, oh, it's the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. It's like, no, it is an absolutely phenomenal series about rebellion, about fighting for the truth and fighting for goodness. And those are all things the world needs, especially right now, with all of this mainstream nonsense that is spewed at us all the time, and people need something to activate that part of their brain, and Andor's it. So, as a show, Andor is phenomenal, and it has, yeah, it's just great. It's great thoroughly. I really like it. But yeah, so next I'm gonna go Ahsoka. Ahsoka feels very much like Star Wars. So the feel of Star Wars is there, I'd say. But it's very weak in the writing aspect. A lot. Not all the time, but there are moments where I'm like, wow, that was just so lazy, or wow, that was really dumb, or the whole first 3 episodes of that show are just so exposition-y, and it's like, if you're making a show feel like George Star Wars, you're attempting to make it feel like that, you can't have that much exposition. And that's the thing, like, George Star Wars always just goes straight to the point. It starts at the point. You don't have, like, a million hours of exposition. And that's what, like, Ahsoka, the first 3 episodes are just, like, nothing. And then episodes 4, 5, and 6 are fantastic, really amazing Star Wars, some of the best Disney Star Wars made. And then episodes 7 and 8 are horrible. So it's like, well, that's Ahsoka, so I hope season 2 is better, but it's still fun to watch those 4, 5, 6, because like those episodes are just so well done. I'm like, I don't know why he couldn't have just done that for the whole show, but that's how Filoni does things when he's on his own. Unfortunately, he just can't. He has trouble with consistency, I think. Yeah. So next, I've got to go probably Skeleton Crew. Yeah, Skeleton Crew. I personally didn't care about this show at all. I, really didn't care about it. There were a couple episodes of that I didn't even watch because I'm like, I just don't care. It's like, I acknowledge it's good writing and it's, like, a fun show and it doesn't, take a crap on George Star Wars. Like, it's consistent with Star Wars to an extent, and it's just like there, so so the whole thing really, it's like both Andor and Skeleton Crew do not feel like Star Wars at all, but some people prefer Skeleton Crew over Andor, and like that's their vibe of like, hey, this is a great show, but it's not totally like Star Wars, where I'm more like, I prefer Andor, but it's not really Star Wars. It's just like, which one of those do you prefer? And I prefer Andor over Skeleton Crew. Like, I just do. But I know some people prefer Skeleton Crew over Andor, like Theory and others, That's fine. I just don't, personally. Yeah, so now we get into shit, basically. We're in shit territory at this point. Actually, that is not true. I forgot something. That is totally my bad. It's just because this list is outdated. Tales of the Underworld is gonna go right after Solo. That's where Tales of the Underworld goes. So, it's between Solo and Rebels for me. Tales of the Underworld was really, really good. So, that's where that would go. Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'd put that. Yeah, so that's where that goes. Anyways, so now we're at Skeleton Crew. So after this, it really is just kind of mid to garbage. Oh, next is Bad Batch. That's obvious. It's fun. It's written really well, but there's this vibe of it I don't like. It's too corny. It's like there's these just parts that I'm like, oh, like Omega's just, I really don't like her. I really do not like Omega. I just really don't like her. She's so peppy and annoying and like I am not an Omega fan. And she really, if it was just the Bad Batch without her, I feel this show would be way better than it is. But she dragged the entire show down, I feel like. Because they're constantly having to go after her and take care of her and this and that. And it's like, I don't care. And the whole thing of having a female clone is stupid. It is stupid. Like, that makes zero sense. Sure, they technically could modify the genes, but why would they do that? What, the Kaminoans were like, oh, we need some diversity in here? Like, what? No, they wouldn't do that. They don't give a fuck. The Kaminoans are the most greedy fucking people. All they want is money. You think they care about making like, they don't care. Who cares? You know, so it's like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And, you know, then there's all these people who are obsessed with that show, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. Those Cad Bane episodes, great. I loved watching Cad Bane just, like, shoot Hunter like that and walk away. It was hilarious. Oh, my gosh. I remember watching that, I'm like, hey, Hunter, bro, what are you doing? And then I'm like, thank you. Love Cad Bane, by the way. I love him. He's so cool. What else happens in that show? Oh yeah, Palpatine's in it a bit. He's cool when he shows up. Rex is in it when he shows up. It's cool. In season 3, they did this clone thing. That's really cool with like this coalition of clone rebels who got their chips removed, and they're helping each other. And then you see Wolf, and you see Cody in the second season, and that's really cool. And what annoys me there is, like, he walks away and we know nothing. Like, the last time we saw him, he just was leaving the Imperial base. Like, we don't know where he is, what he's doing. And Cody is my favorite clone trooper. So, like, I want to see more of him. You know, like, I'd say, at this point, more of Cody, less of Rex. Because we've gotten a lot of Rex, and I think it's time to kind of balance it out a little bit and fill us in on Cody. You know, as much as the othetic shills and fake fans who claim to love Clone Wars and love Bad Batch and all this shit, you know, well, not claim, they love Bad Batch and they love Omega. And you know what I'm talking about, the TikTok, Instagram crowd. They're gonna hate that I say that, but it's true. I personally, I love Cody more. I do. I've been, I'd say, probably a bigger Cody fan than a Rex fan for a long time. And when I was younger, I was a Rex fan, and then when I got older, I just liked Cody more. Not that I hate Rex. I love Rex too, but Cody's just better. Yeah. Next up. Yikes, we are really getting into garbage territory here. Holy crap. I'm going to go... Do we think Tales of the Empire is better than Book of Boba Fett? Because Tales of the Empire was so horrible and boring. But I'm like, was it that bad? No, because at least in Book of Boba Fett we had the Mando episodes. Yeah, okay, I'll give it. So next we have Boba. Terrible show, terrible writing, terrible cinematography. Horror. I already said bad writing, bad directing. It's shit, really. Except for 2 episodes thrown in there where they turn it into The Mandalorian 2.5. And that Mando episode, the first one, is one of the best Mando episodes ever. And the second one, we get more of Luke, and we get Luke and Ahsoka together, and that's written really well. And it's cool. It's cool, man. Those 2 episodes were good. And then the last episode's not good, but I think it's overhated. It's like, what do you expect from Book of Boba Fett? You know, that's very much how... I hate that Grogu went back with Mando. That's so dumb. But seeing Mando and Boba Fett, like, just go wreak havoc on the Pike Syndicate, like, that's so cool. Boba and Cad Bane fight was lame and boring. Should have been way more exciting than that, but it wasn't. Yeah, Boba wouldn't... Old-ass man Boba would not take Cad Bane down that easily, realistically. Like, no. And remember, Cad Bane is Boba's mentor. Like, what are we doing? You know, it's like, yeah, that show's bad. And then they ruined Boba's character. They made him a wuss and a good guy. They can't just keep a bad guy bad. They always have to do something to make him good. It's like, no. The only time that's acceptable is with Darth Vader. Because it's Darth Vader. And that is literally the entire crux of the story of Star Wars. But Boba Fett is an asshole. And has been. Because he's bitter about his father. So if anything, if you're going to make him lighter, it should be to get over... Do something where he has to learn to get over his father's death. You know, that's the only thing you could do. But he's grown up around that life. You know, he's not going to just majestically come out of a Sarlacc pit and be better. Like, what? So stupid. So stupid. I hate that show. Okay, then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. The most disappointing thing in Star Wars. Everyone thought that this was going to be the greatest piece of Disney Star Wars and the most George Lucas feeling piece of Star Wars and some of the best Star Wars ever before it came out. Everybody, even the casuals who don't even care, were like, this is such a big deal. Then it comes out, and within the first episode, we are horribly proven wrong. The shaky cam, the let's spend half the time on Reva and Leia, the terrible Grand Inquisitor look. They couldn't even... George did that in 2005. He made the Utapawan heads long. Ki-Adi-Mundi even. Like, you can make a long head. They were just lazy and didn't. It was so lazy. And they had no budget, too. So that's a lot of the reason why the show's bad. And there are times when Vader's armor just looks so cheap. Especially in the 3rd episode. I'm like, holy crap, this is Ruby's cosplay. Like, it's bad. There are moments in there where I'm like, dude, this Vader suit is... It is not Rogue One quality. Rogue One Vader, like, it just is so, like, high quality looking. And then you go to this and it's like, what is that, bro? What is that? Like, I've seen cosplayers make better Vader costumes than that. Like, it was pretty gross. But then there were times where it looked really good, and then there were times where I was like, yikes. Like, his cape would be all folded. I'm like, what is this laziness? You know, I'm like, ugh. Sure, I love the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. That's great. And the whole thing with when he gets his mask cut open, that's great. So sure, I love that scene. But does that equate for the whole show being good? No. Just because Darth Vader is prevalent and done pretty horribly the whole time, does that make the show good? No. Just because there's a 2-second crappily de-aged Anakin and Obi-Wan flashback, does that make the show good? No. Right? It's like, sure, I loved seeing that, loved seeing Hayden as Anakin again, and it's not a the worst scene ever, but it was like the de-aging was terrible. And then you see them do it in Ahsoka, and the de-aging is like perfect. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, dude, that show was just awful. It was awful. And there are like these moments where I'm like, this is from Stuart Beattie's script. Like, there's a scene with Obi-Wan on his Eopie walking across the desert, and John Williams music is playing. Original John Williams music for a Star Wars show with Obi-Wan. And every time that I saw that part, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the show, and then it cuts to like something stupid, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, and that chase between the three like gang people and Leia on Alderaan, worst chase in cinematic history. One of the worst, if not the worst. It was terrible. You're telling me 3 fully grown men could not stop at an 8-year-old, or however old she was, like, from running away. It's like, what? What? Oh my god, that show was so bad. Oh my gosh. Okay, next, what do I do? At this point, like, it was just getting worse from here on out. Tales of the Empire, probably, right? I don't know. I almost enjoyed The Force Awakens more than that show. I'm gonna be real, guys. Like, that show was just terrible. I mean, it was just terrible. I don't understand why it was just so bad. And you do Tales of the Empire, where you could be doing shit on Imperial people. You could have done like 3 episodes on Krennic, and like 3 episodes on Vader, or like 3 episodes on Thrawn, or 3 episodes on Palpatine, or 3 episodes on you name it. You know, like, they could have like gone deep into the Grand Inquisitor and done a bunch of stuff there, into anyone, and they choose people who have nothing to do with the Empire. Morgan Elsbeth? Some random lady in Ahsoka? What? Empire? Like, no, save that for something else. Barriss Offee, great, that had a lot of potential. What'd they do with that? Nothing. She just, like, dies. From Kenobi Inquisitor Tendril Lady. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, dude, Force Awakens is better than that. Tales of the Empire is horrible. That show was just terrible. Like, at least Force Awakens, you have Kylo Ren. There are a lot of things that they just took from the original trilogy, so then automatically that's going to make it kind of better, you know? You have John Williams. You have the Falcon. You have Han. Like, at least that's there. At least Force Awakens looks like Star Wars, and tries. J.J. Abrams tried his best to replicate George Lucas' Star Wars, and I'd say did not a great job, obviously. But he did better than some, I will say. I don't know, man. Yeah, Force Awakens might be better than the Obi-Wan show. It might be. Like, that show is just trash. There's nothing good about that show. I don't know if I could do that. I'll wait, and I might do that, because, like, that show is just terrible. It's so bad. Okay, what else do we have here? I think we're literally left with, like, okay, so I'm not ranking Star Wars Visions, because that, like, legit is not Star Wars. It's just animated artists. Like, they don't even deny it. Like, it's not canon, it's not Legends, like, it's its own thing. I'm not even gonna rank that. I'm not. That's, like, not. And same thing, Star Wars Resistance is shit. That, like, no one even, I'm not gonna acknowledge that. Like, that's not even a show, bro. Like, who, what? What? Like, it has zero significance, bro. Like, what? Yeah, I'm not even ranking that, bro. Fuck that. It's better than some of the things on this list. It's better than the Acolyte, but still, I'm not fucking. Yeah, fuck, bro. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah. So next is Tales of the Empire. Terrible series, start to finish, just terrible. I loved Grievous. I love that we saw Grievous again, but again, one character doing something cool will not save an entire show. That does nothing. And when they put those characters into something they shouldn't be in, and you're like, how? He's in this? What? They're doing that to try to make you like the show better. It's like, it's true. You know, and it's like, well, that didn't work. I remember when this got announced and I saw the trailer and I saw General fucking Grievous. Literally, you know, my first favorite character ever was General Grievous when I was 3 and I saw Clone Wars. General Grievous was my favorite character. And then I saw Revenge later on. Like, I loved him and I still do. I still love Grievous. They should do, I don't know if I trust them to do it anymore, but I think they should do a Grievous origin show and then we see him training with Dooku. That would be sick. And I feel like that's like an animated Star Wars project too, more than a live action one, in my opinion. That would be really, really cool. I'd love to make that. Hell, Lucasfilm, DM me, Saudi Video, Instagram. We can talk. I do a great job there because I've studied Grievous more than anyone else probably. No one is like, oh, this one guy from Revenge of the Sith. I know like everything about Grievous. It's insane. Like, I love him. So I loved seeing him. And that's the only reason why it's not, like, well, I guess we are at the bottom now. So it's like, it is just kind of that bad. But, yeah, would you say The Rise of Skywalker is better than The Last Jedi? I don't think so. Like, The Rise of Skywalker is just, like, dog shit. But then at the same time, so is The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi at least has some okay writing moments. You know, and I'm not Star Wars wise, but filmmaking wise, like, there's writing decisions where I'm like, oh, that's actually creative, or oh, that's different. You know, just like how they intertwine their character arcs and like the tone and all that, the direction. Even Theory says that, like, as just a film, and you take Star Wars out of it, The Last Jedi is not that bad, you know? But when you use Luke Skywalker, that's the thing. If you want to do something like this, don't use George stuff. Go off and do your own thing entirely. And that's what Andor did, and Tony Gilroy says that, you know, that he's like, I just don't know enough, you know, and I don't care enough to use those characters, and I'm going to feel constricted. So he's like, you know what, I'm just not. And that's the thing. It's like, if he doesn't know how to use Darth Vader, don't use him. If he doesn't know how to write Palpatine, don't write him. You know, and that's exactly what he did, because he's self-aware. That's what I love about Tony Gilroy, is he's very, very self-aware. Like, he's just honest and self-aware. And if you want to do something totally different, do something totally different. Don't try to do something totally different with characters that are already established. Like, that's not okay. And for that reason, I'm putting The Rise of Skywalker above The Last Jedi. Because at least The Rise of... That's not even... Oh, those movies. Classic renditions of Star Wars that are universally hated by everybody. Goodness gracious, Lord. Horrible. At least The Rise of Skywalker treated Luke Skywalker well. At least The Rise of Skywalker knew how to utilize legacy characters to a minor extent. John Williams, obviously, in both of those movies are great. Just John Williams is never not great. He never doesn't do his job, you know, so that's like a given. It's like extra credit. It's like you have John Williams, that automatically gives you some extra credit, you know, it's just true because he's so freaking good. Um, Man, yeah, I don't know. Those two, they're just on the same level of shit. It's just what kind of shit. You know, Last Jedi knows nothing, nothing about the lore. Where The Rise of Skywalker is a tiny bit better with lore. They at least, like, tried to do something with this whole Sith Eternal thing and tried to do something about the Force that made it a little more interesting. Did they do it well? No, but they tried to at least handle lore. The Last Jedi just doesn't. Like, they just state factually incorrect information. Like, oh, the Force balance means half light, half dark. It's like, no, it doesn't. George Lucas himself has said that. Therefore, you are directly going against George Lucas. Therefore, you get an insane deduction from me because you purposefully do that. So it's like, well, fuck you, Rian Johnson. Yeah, I don't need him. He's a fucking shit. And then last place, we have The Acolyte. The worst piece of Star Wars there will ever be. I don't think there will be a piece of Star Wars worse than that show. How much worse could you get? To where you can't even make costumes. Like legit, there's one thing that is okay out of The Acolyte, and that is the production design. But like the VFX are mid. They're so just baseline, and the costumes are terrible, the writing is terrible, the fights are terrible. Everyone's like, oh, the episode 5 Acolyte fights, they're the best since the Phantom Menace. I'm like, you're just saying that because it's fast, but when you slow the fight down, it's terribly choreographed. It's all just for show, but when you slow episode 1's fight down, it all makes sense. It's actually coordinated because Nick Gillard knows how to choreograph. Whoever did the choreography for Acolyte is just terrible at their job. They're like, okay, yeah, let's be slick about this. Let's do horrible choreography, but we'll hide it by speeding it up. You know, it's like, no, dude. It's just bad. It's just bad. It's just horrible. And the direction is abysmal. Everything about that show is negative. Everything. The lightsaber design, literally the ugliest, horrendous looking lightsabers ever. That and Skeleton Crew have just the worst looking lightsabers ever. Like, I could draw up a lightsaber on paper in 10 minutes that would be more interesting than anything. And like that Skeleton Crew lightsaber, awful. Every lightsaber in the Acolyte, this thick. It's like, what is that? And then they're all like the most bland, nasty looking things ever. I'm like, what is this? To where NeoPixel companies literally shrunk them down because of how fat they were, and they lost screen accuracy because they legitimately could not stand how ugly they were. Like, that is how bad the Acolyte was, where companies who are meant to make screen accurate stuff don't, because of how just nasty your product was. Like, that is insane to me. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Like, that show makes me mad. It makes me so mad that even got made. And supposedly I've heard that that's what we got after Dave Filoni went in and weekly helped it. So who knows what we would have gotten without his fake help that he gave. It's like, that's the thing. If you're in a do or do not, there is no try. Like, if they wanted Dave to go in and fix it, he should have totally fixed it. Not, I'll try to fix it. I'll see what I can do. And, that's Dave. He's so that way. And it's like, that's why we're going to get, there's no real filter there, because it's just going to all be, where George is like, no. If he doesn't like something, he'll be like, no. You know, he's not going to be like, no, what is this? He's going to be like, no, don't like it. And he'll move on. Or his stamp, Fabuloso, and then there's another one that's like, He's like, no, yes, no. But do you see the difference? Yes, no, versus maybe. It's like when you're in charge of a company, the maybe stuff you can't do all the time because you have to be making decisions quick. And it's like any real Star Wars fan who knows the brand, knows the story, knows the Force, would never look at that for a minute and go, maybe. That's a no. I would have scrapped the whole project, as everyone would. You know, like, that's just not okay. Like, that show's just a crime against humanity, bro. Like, that show is just horrible. It is so horrible. But yeah, that's it. So that is my Star Wars ranking of every movie and show with relevance, whether they're amazing or terrible. So I will go down in order now. We'll go from bottom to top. This way it leads to positivity and not back to the Acolyte. Bottom, we have Acolyte, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Tales of the Empire, The Force Awakens, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, The Bad Batch, Skeleton Crew. Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, I'll swap that. Let me restart. Acolyte, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Tales of the Empire, Force Awakens, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch, Ahsoka, Andor, Rebels, Solo, Mando, Rogue One, Tales of the Jedi, Clone Wars 2003, Clone Wars 2008, 3D animated one, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Episode 1, Empire Strikes Back, Episode 3. There you go. There you go. That is my ranking. Official. Thank you all for watching. That's it. I will see you in the next video. To the next one, may the Force be with you always. Goodbye.